Hello, welcome back to the studio. Well, Christmas is over and we start looking toward the new year, and for some of us it's going to be new hobbies. Some of those I hope are going to be painting. In fact, I hope many of you got lovely presents, including paints, brushes and maybe some gift vouchers, but sometimes you just need to know where to start. So this video is aimed very much at the beginners or people looking to improve the kit that they've got, because it can be daunting. I can well remember standing in an art shop looking at banks and banks of paints, brushes and easels and canvases and wondering just where to start. So this is my top 5 suggestions for the things that you should be getting to start your painting hobby in 2024. Now, before I get started on that list, full disclosure, I haven't been asked to promote these products. No one's reviewing what I'm going to be doing. In fact, all of the products I'm going to be talking about are ones that I personally use. If I don't use it, I won't recommend it. It's as simple as that. Now, the links are all going to be down below in the description, and they are Amazon links. I do earn a very small commission if you purchase something from that list, but they're more for an example. If you find something better or cheaper somewhere else, then great, go for it. Number 1 on my list is a decent easel. Now, you can look on the internet and you can find dozens of them, all sorts of shapes and sizes and prices. My top tip is don't cheap out on it. It's going to be something you're going to be using a lot. And if it's real flimsy and cheap and nasty, I guarantee it, as the old saying says, buy cheap, buy twice. You'll still be using it for firewood and buying yourself a better one. Now, one of my favourites is a brand called De La Rowney. It may not be available where you live, but certainly something like this is what you should be looking for. There are other brands as well, and I've looked at some of them, and some of them really aren't sort of worth buying. But Medium is another brand name which you will see quite often. I like to use a nice tabletop easel as opposed to using a freestanding easel. They're great if you have a lovely big room dedicated just to painting, because they're a hassle. Taking them up, putting them down, moving them around. They take up a lot of space. So, a nice tabletop easel is perfect. They come in lots of different sizes and shapes, of course. Some are just the easel, and some have a storage box underneath called a pochade box. My recommendation is if you want everything in one nice, neat little spot, then one of those sorts of easels is perfect. But if you also want to have your storage sort of slightly separate, then a nice cheap plastic toolbox works well too. I buy that in combination with that De La Rowney easel, and you'll be well set. Now, on to suggestion number 2. My next must-have is good lighting. Something like this Lepro light are ideal. In fact, I like them so much I've got several of them dotted around the house. They're light, they offer great lighting and lots of adjustability. Daylight, natural light and a nice warm colour. You'll find something that suits you when you're painting. You'll see I've got one fitted above my lightweight aluminium easel here, and it's perfect for those dark winter evenings when I want to really see what I'm doing. They're also great for drawing, if you do needlepoint, or just reading. They're so cheap as well, I can't believe that they're the price that they are. It's almost a no-brainer, so make sure this is on your shopping list. Number 3 on my list is a decent painting surface. Now, traditionally, you would have been painting on a canvas, but they're pricey, and you're going to get through a lot of them when you're starting out. My suggestion is one of my paper canvases. If you've seen any of my painting demonstrations, you'll know that I paint on paper a lot. Not an expensive art paper, I use lining paper, and this is the sort of brand I've been using. They're very affordable, you can cut them to size, and what I do is I like to stick them to a previously used canvas. It means my painting surface has got a nice bounce to it, so I get all the benefits of painting on a canvas without all the costs. And as a bonus, they're easy to store. All you need to do to prepare the surface is give it a couple of coats of gesso or a white acrylic. In my case, I like using a grey acrylic. So it's a big benefit all the way around. I have a big stack of paintings here which I've been working on, and they are years old and still look just as good as the day I painted them. So that's number 3. Get yourself some lining paper. My next must-have item is a palette. It's tempting to want to get something like this, but I think there's a better solution. I like to use this product, and it's called Reynolds Freezer Paper. It's a plastic coated paper used for wrapping food to go in your freezer. And it's identical to the same plastic coated paper that you would buy if you went to an art shop and bought one of those very expensive art pads. It comes on a nice roll. You can cut off as much as you need, then use some masking tape to attach it to a firm surface. In this case, I'm actually using one of those placemat holders, and it works perfectly. I can leave this on my table, I can mix my colours on here, and if I need to store it, I can pop the whole thing in the freezer. That's right, the paint doesn't freeze, but it will just sit there in sort of suspended animation until you're ready to paint again. It's an ideal way of making sure you don't get yourself in a pickle with your paints, and it's cheap. My suggestion, some freezer paper. And finally, number 5 on my list, masking tape. I use it all the time. I use it on my canvases, which are made of paper. I use it on my disposable palettes. I use it for my horizon lines. 1/2 inch wide is perfect. Shop around. You'll often see you've got some deals available. That's number 5, my essential 5th item. So there you have it, a quick summary of my top 5 items that you're going to need if you're going to start painting in 2024. But there are lots of other things, and if you've got some good ideas, drop them down in the comments below. It just leaves me to say Happy New Year to you, and I'll see you in 2024 for some nice beginner paintings. Happy painting, people.